we can't see it. Could you please go to another page?
Yeah. If this is the ground, all right, your wheels have dug holes like that in the ground, haven't they? And your wheel is sitting in here. So what you need to do is to get this wheel higher. So it's sitting here, maybe up to the surface even. Right? And once you've got it up to here, then it's fine. You just try it. So how do you get it up to there? Now, one idea, as you mentioned, is rocking from side to side. If this is the back of the vehicle, here's the back windows, here's the rear wheels, and looking from the back, your tyres are sunk this deep in the sand. Now you get a couple of guys on this side pushing, and a couple of guys on this side pushing, and they're rocking the vehicle sideways. Okay, they're trying to rock it like this on the suspension. And if they get it rocking far enough, every time it leans over this way, this tyre is going to lift a fraction. And as it lifts, sand falls in underneath it. And it goes back, and then we push this side, this wheel goes up a bit, sand falls in, and eventually, if you've got enough guys who are strong enough and got enough stamina, you could rock that vehicle all the way to the surface. Okay? By rocking it sideways on the suspension. But you've got to get enough sideways movement going to lift the suspension. All right? Now, this is easier on cart spring vehicles because the suspension doesn't articulate as much as it does, say, on a Discovery. That's true, Peter, isn't it?
I think you can try that on certain cars with dying.
Yeah, I think you'd be right. All right, so what are the other ways of lifting the wheels? My high lift jack? My airbag?
No.
Now, if you look at the airbag sequence on page 31, you can see how deep the back wheels are. They're really sunk in the ground, aren't they? Now, the only way that I was going to get that out, I put the airbag underneath, I blew it up, the wheels lifted, I filled the sand under the wheels, and then I was able to drive out.
Daarachterin.
So, that's another example of the principle of lifting the vehicle up out of the sand. Obviously, digging out and towing are all... We'll try some of these ideas. We'll bury some vehicles in the sand on Friday and let you practice getting them out. Sorry?
You mentioned the derry under the wheel. I mean, that thing will not be very efficient as the derry. No. What you can do, you'll talk about it, you can go down to soup, you go to nylon beach mats.
Yes.
You can buy 4 of those, and one costing is very light, stuck in your car. And what you do, you go down to construction yard, you get a nickel, bagel.
Yeah, but in a controlled manner. So don't have your AC on. Switch your AC off when you're in these recovery situations, because even if you're in low second or high first, it's amazing how much power the AC unit takes away from the transmission when it's working. One very other important point about recovery, you may well find when you get stuck that a simple check of the tyre pressures is enough. Because when you're driving over the hot sand for fairly long periods of time, although you let the tyres down to 18, 20 pounds per square inch, the heat, the ambient temperature, you'll find they're back up to 25, 26, 27 again. So if you let 10 pounds of pressure out, you may find that's just enough to get you off again. But obviously when those tyres cool down, they'll be that much lower than when you started.
Is there any difference between a tubeless and a tube tyre?
In terms of temperature affecting the pressure, in general terms, I would never use a tubeless tyre for serious work in the desert. All of us who go rallying had tubes in our tyres. Certainly if you have to let them down very low, it's much safer to have tubes in. There's much less risk of the tyre coming off the rim if you've got tubes.
So if you let it tie down with a tube, you can rip without that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually. It doesn't. If you look at the inside of a tyre and look at the tube, it's not a smooth surface. It's quite rough, and you only need about 5 or 6 pounds of pressure for that inner tube to stay in position against the casing. No, but obviously, if you have a vehicle that you just take occasionally into the desert, your ordinary road tyres, which are most probably tubeless, would be okay. What else? There is things that we can talk about on Friday about towing, being towed, and towing. And I'm sure that all the instructors who are here tonight, who are going to be with you on Friday, will find the opportunity to demonstrate towing techniques, two basic types of towing. One is like a tug-of-war pull, where you have one vehicle here that is stuck and the other vehicle here which is pulling, and the rope is tight, and then you have a slow pull, steady pull, starting with a tight rope. The other is a little bit more dramatic. It's called popping, where this vehicle that is going to try and get this one out has a very slack rope, and he gets up as much speed as he can, and when the rope gets tight, it really stretches, and as the rope contracts, the force generated is enough to then we go whoops. Very effective, but if you use that, you need something strong to tow with, and you need to make sure that you haven't tied it onto somebody's bumper, and it's attached to the proper towing fork. Okay, now I'm sure we could carry on talking all night, but there's a hell of a lot said that you may want to ask questions about, and I'm going to hand back to Si because I need a drink.